Good afternoon and welcome to my kitchen. Lately I've been putting out some videos where you see me working on the organic farm, our regenerative organic farm. We're creating our survival garden out there, as well as some videos where I'm tooling around and experimenting or making things such as the chicken waterer or a smokeless camp stove. It's all about sustainability. It's all about creating a regenerative life. It's all about being truly independent, and you can do everything right. You can grow your own food, you can process your own food, but you're not really independent until you add another component to that, and that's storing your own food. So today we're going to be making some salsa, and we're going to be going over how we can the salsa. We've got some orange tomatoes, we've got red tomatoes, we've got some yellow peppers and some green peppers. We've also got our garlic, all of it organic from the farm. We've got the jalapenos. Can't forget the jalapenos. We've got a variety of other seasonings we're going to add. Cilantro, basil, salt, good sea salt, fresh ground black pepper, things like that. All going to go into the cilantro. And then we're going to do water bath canning into our jars. And it's going to be ready for winter storage. We'll be able to open this up. This will probably make us, well, when we're all done, we'll probably have about 2 years worth of salsa. But we've still got cans of salsa up there. My kid in the background's pointing up there trying to distract me from the video. And the first step that we're going to do is we're going to throw all of this into the smoker. Seems weird, but it's going to give everything a nice smoked flavor. The jalapenos, we throw them in the smoker and we smoke them. That's going to turn them into chipotles. The smoke from the hickory is going to give the peppers and the tomatoes an amazing flavor. It's not going to be overpowering. It's just going to be a hint. It's going to be very subtle, but you're going to know it's there. So let's get everything out to the smoker. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we've got some aluminum foil we're going to put on our top tray. And really, we're just going to take our chef's knife and we're going to go through these tomatoes and cut them in half. It's going to be easier for us to put them on the tray. The jalapenos, the peppers, and our garlic, we'll take this garlic, the papering off of the garlic, and we're going to break it up into just large clove chunks, and that's going to go straight onto a rack into the smoker as well. So we should have this out there in just a minute or two. All right, here we are outside in the smoker. I'm going to move the Venus flytrap plant from the top of the smoker so we don't end up inadvertently killing that. We've got our hickory chips loaded up into our smoker tray, and what's nice about this is because it's an indirect heat, we're actually going to create pyrolysis, or pyrolysis. I always mispronounce it. Basically, we're going to reduce these hickory chips to biochar, which we can take and we can put into our garden or into our sub pod and add to our compost. As you can see, everything's in there. Millie's my helper today. And we're just going to get this started and get it going, and then we'll see if we can't find some tomato pieces for Millie to enjoy. All right, we've got some kitchen scraps here we're taking out to our sub pod. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these before, but all of our kitchen scraps go into the sub pod. And this is our composter. We've got quite a few kitchen scraps, and as you can see, it's doing its job. We've got quite a few red worms down in here that help compost everything. And when this is good and made, it'll go straight from here and into the garden. We keep these mats wet, kind of protects everything. It's a handy little system. Out here you see in our garden we've got quite a few marigolds. The marigolds are a natural insect as well as a wildlife deterrent. They keep the deer and some of the other smaller critters out of the garden, so we don't have to worry about losing produce to animals. We've got some sweet corn coming in. We've got more tomatoes. We've got all kinds of stuff. We've got our strawberries, our potato plants, our onions. Everything we need, and it'll all get canned and put into our basement, which doubles as a root cellar for us, and that'll last us through the winter. And while we wait for everything to get smoked, which you can see it's quickly come up to temperature, and we got the smoke coming. So everything's doing what it's supposed to. I just spent a little bit of time out here with my girl Millie and Penny. And maybe Pepe will come over and we'll have some chips. All right, you can see the smoke going real well. We're now up to about 200 degrees. And we're going to keep it between 200 and 225. Let's take a peek and see what's going on in here. Oh, look at that. You can see how those jalapenos are starting to shrivel just a little bit, and they're going to get really a nice smoky flavor. Make some great chipotle out of that. Well, all right. As you can see, everything has come in. It's beautifully smoked, at least to the point that I wanted it smoked. It's been out there about 2 hours, between 200 and 225 degrees, and we used a wonderful hickory smoked, or hickory wood, to create our smoke. The smoker itself is cooling down. Then we'll take the wood chips that are left over, and those will actually become, like I said, it's biochar at this point, due to the process of pyrolysis. So just cutting everything up. I think the jalapenos or the now chipotles, I'm going to add to the food processor. That way I can get them ground up fairly small. So we'll show you what everything's going to look like once it goes into the pot and it gets onto the stove. So we've added everything together. We're going to bring this to a boil. The family likes their salsa a little bit on the chunky side, so this is going to actually break up a little bit more, and it's going to have a really nice chunky consistency. And like I said, everything's mixed up. We got the jalapeno peppers in here, which are now chipotles. We've added half a cup of apple cider vinegar. A lot of benefits to the apple cider vinegar. We've added cilantro. We're going to bring this to a boil. The smoked garlic, we could eat that right out of the clove. It was so good. We'll bring this to a boil for about 10 minutes, and then we'll let it simmer down for about 20 minutes. And once it cools, it'll be ready to go into the canning jars. All right, well, as you can see, the salsa has been brought to a boil. We did go ahead and run it through the blender so that it had a little more of an even texture and consistency, just because it didn't reduce down as much as we thought. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our ladle, and these are going to go into our pint jars. We're going to leave about a ½ inch of head space, which I typically leave a little bit more, about 3/4 of an inch of head space. So we're going to go right up to the thread there on all these jars, and we've got our water started for our water bath back there. And as soon as that comes to a boil, these will go in and get canned, be ready for preservation. These are going to go in now for about 40 minutes, and the water will actually completely cover the jars. And this is water bath canning. I might have to add just a little bit of water. I was expecting more displacement from the jar, so yep, we'll add a little bit of water just to bring it up over the lids, and then we'll give it 40 minutes. Okay, well, these sat in the water bath for 40 minutes, and then we turned the heat off, and we allowed them to sit for another 5 minutes. And what the water bath does is basically it guarantees the canning. So your lid has got this little dimple. You can push it down, and in a minute it'll pop back up because there's no vacuum in there. As these cool, it pulls the lids down. You can see that they're all pulled down, and it's going to continue to cool about 12 hours. We'll let these sit out here just at room temperature, and then we can take them and put them in a much cooler area, and they'll be completely sealed and good for a couple years. You do have to be careful, though, when you're doing the water bath canning, that if this doesn't, when you pull it out and you allow these to cool and come to room temperature, if that doesn't suck down and seal, then you run the risk of botulism, getting sick, extremely sick, and possibly even dying. So you always have to be careful with canning. And next week we'll be back with doing some pasta sauce with some more tomatoes. So thank you again for your support, and I hope you enjoy the videos here at the Fairfield Good Earthworks.
I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing